Hello and very warm welcome at Amish Cycle 5858. I am Amish Cycle. Foreign news have been reported by American, European, Asian, African, Australian news channels and the news agencies. So please let's go to the headlines.
ABC's World News Tonight, America's most watched newscast. Now streaming same day with all the breaking news of the day on Disney Plus. Most watched, most trusted. Now on Disney Plus every night.
Breaking tonight, a significant escalation as thousands more American ground troops arrive in the Middle East as Iran now threatens to attack Israeli and American colleges in the region. And with paychecks on the way, when will those endless airport security lines finally ease up? We begin with the war in Iran now in its fifth week. 3,500 Marines and sailors have arrived. 50,000 troops now in the region. The Pentagon is reportedly mulling options. President Trump has not yet decided whether to launch a ground invasion. Secretary of State Marco Rubio on how long the war could last. Will it be weeks or months? Plus, the latest on new talks in Pakistan to end the fighting. Iran now reeling from strikes on schools in Tehran and suggesting attacks on American universities in the Middle East. And there's new concern that Iranian allies may try to block the Red Sea, another vital shipping route. We have team coverage. Also tonight, those excruciating security lines at the airport. TSA agents are calling out in record numbers after going without pay for more than a month. With the checks finally coming, will the delays ease up? An alleged bombing plot thwarted. A new photo of the device left outside the Bank of America in Paris, and what the investigation has turned up. Tiger Woods out of jail after that serious accident and now facing a charge of driving under the influence. How this will impact his latest comeback. The horrific school bus crash, 2 children killed. Parents describe the awful scene. NASA's return to the moon, the countdown to Artemis 2, why the mission is so important, and what they've done to fix a stubborn hydrogen leak. The brazen chocolate theft 1 week before Easter, who stole 12 tons of Kit Kats? And America Strong tonight, how she went from hospital janitor to doctor at the same hospital.
From ABC News World Headquarters in New York, this is World News Tonight.
Good evening, everyone.
Sunday night, the NDP chooses its new leader. Abby Lewis wins a decisive victory.
NDP comeback starts now.
His plans to rebuild the party and the criticism already coming from within. Peace talks in Pakistan. Diplomats discuss how to end the Iran war, even as both sides escalate their attacks. Plus, peculiar propaganda. The online war of memes between Washington and Tehran. And prepare to launch.
I spent a lot more time looking at it through binoculars.
NASA astronauts, including this Canadian, make a final appearance before their mission to the moon.
Global National. Reporting tonight, Jeff Semple.
Good evening and thank you for joining us. For the first time in nearly a year, the federal NDP has a new leader. Abby Lewis, a former broadcaster, documentary maker, and climate activist, was selected on the first ballot, winning a decisive 56% of the vote. Lewis campaigned on aggressive environmental and affordability policies, and he called the result a victory for party unity. But even as he spoke, some provincial NDP leaders were already voicing their opposition. Melissa Ridgett reports from the party convention in Winnipeg.
For more now, let's bring in Hudson Institute Senior Fellow Rebecca Heinrichs and former NSC Senior Director Michael Allen. Happy Sunday. Welcome to both of you. Thank you. Rebecca, where are we at this stage in this conflict against the Iranian regime?
Well, I think Senator Cotton's remarks there were really helpful, too. He's also the chairman of the Intelligence Committee, the Senate side, so he's going to be getting regular briefings. But look, I think that there's multiple lines of effort. You have the military line of effort, which we constantly hear Admiral Cooper talking about. He's the head of Central Command. And he's saying that we're going through all of these target lists. That there's a target list for taking out Iran's ability to project power outside its borders. And then we have another line of effort, which we're working with the Israelis, to weaken the regime's ability to resist the United States. It's the IRGC and the siege. And then, of course, we're also trying to get the Strait of Hormuz open. That's going to be another phase, and I think that that's going to go in tandem with removing the rest of the nuclear program that's still inside the country. Those last two pieces are going to be the last line of effort of the war, but 4 weeks in to a war that we were told it's probably going to be about 4 to 6 weeks. I agree with Senator Cotton that everything I've heard, we're still ahead of schedule.
Michael, sending in Marines, sending in the 82nd Airborne to the region, does that apply appropriate pressure to talks with the Iranians?
I think so. I think it gives the president options, first and foremost, but it is also leverage. It's the idea that, you know what, we may take your oil export hub, which is called Karg Island, of course, or we may deploy to certain islands along the Strait of Hormuz so that we might be able to help reestablish tanker traffic through this corridor. So I think it's a move that the president is making. I can't rule out that we would use a ground raid to take Karg or take some other tactical sort of venue, but I think first and foremost it's to get the Iranians' attention that we can take hostages too.
As you know, we live and work in the Washington, D.C. area. It is a political year. We have midterms coming up. Can the United States leave Iran in a better place soon?
Leave Iran in a better place from an American perspective.
Yes.
I mean, I would say this idea that Iran is going to be more dangerous if the United States doesn't do X, Y, or Z, I completely think that that's not based on the facts. I mean, Iran is already so much significantly degraded. They do not have the ability to project power outside their borders. We've eliminated their air force. Their navy has been significantly degraded. Their missile capabilities, and the thing that I always track is their ability to reproduce missiles and drones. And the United States is working with the Israelis to just completely degrade any of that capability. And every single day, we get greater insight and intelligence as to where these launchers are, and we're able to destroy them. So I think that we're already in a better place. I think we just want to get a better outcome where the United States is the one with our coalition partners controlling the Strait of Hormuz and not this terrorist regime. That's going to be the thing that we still have to wait out to see if we can do. But you're right, Mike, that the points tend to be political. And so we just got to keep pressing through.
Michael, are you confident we can find a leader who will make Iran better for the United States to deal with going forward?
No, I mean, I'm not confident. It's possible, but by most accounts, it's going to be another hardliner that takes over inside the regime. Maybe that's a good thing ultimately if this person has elements of pragmatism to him, because they might be able to work out a deal for us and then sell it to the hardline elements inside of Iran. So maybe we can work with somebody that's coming down the line. But you know what? I think this campaign will be seen in retrospect historically as weakening the Iranian regime. I think it's inevitable that it's going to eventually fall. It may not be next month. It may not be for another year and a half.
Africa News. The news.
Algeria is mourning over the death of former President Lamine Zeroual, who died at the age of 84. Zeroual, who is a former soldier, led Algeria from 1994 to 1999 at the height of the country's civil war. Born on July 3, 1941 in the eastern city of Bagna, he joined the National Liberation Army, which fought for independence from French colonial rule. As head of state, Zeroual oversaw a transitional administration and organized Algeria's first multi-party presidential election in 1995, winning by a wide margin. But in 1998, he surpassed the country by cutting short his 5-year mandate, opening the way for Abdelaziz Bouteflika, who went on to rule for 2 decades. Zeroual kept a low profile after leaving office, but remained widely respected. The presidency said he died in a military hospital in Algiers after a serious illness. Algeria has now declared 3 days of national mourning. The bilateral relations between China and Seychelles are entering a new phase, with rising trade and growing private sector collaboration, alongside new collaborations in the blue economy and digital innovation. This comes as Chinese Vice President Han Zheng is visiting Seychelles after visiting countries like Kenya and South Africa.
It would allow us to take stock of what we have achieved in different fields: education, health, infrastructure, economy, cultural, environment, and otherwise.
Bilateral trade has stayed strong, reaching $84 billion in 2024. China mainly exports
Good Monday morning. I'm Julie Yu. The headlines we're following here on CNA. Pakistan says both the U.S. and Iran support its role as a mediator and that it's ready to host and facilitate meaningful talks between them. And there's no Washington or Tehran, even as foreign ministers from Saudi Arabia, Egypt, and Turkey gathered in Islamabad on Sunday.
Foreign Minister reaffirmed unity to contain the situation, reduce the risk of military escalation, and create conditions for structured negotiations between relevant parties.
I'm Arnold Gay. Iran warns it will attack the homes of U.S. and Israeli officials living in the Middle East and that its forces are waiting for the arrival of American troops on the ground, warning they will be set on fire. Israel's military says it's striking targets across Tehran. Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu also saying he's ordered the military to further expand its operations in southern Lebanon, citing continued rocket fire by Hezbollah.
I'm Sarah Holly. Brent crude is on track for its biggest monthly gain on record in March as the Iran war causes mayhem in the markets. Plus, Indonesia says it's eyeing more than $2 billion in savings as authorities announce plans to cut back on the free meal program. The meals will be distributed for 5 days a week instead of 6 starting tomorrow in some areas. And later this hour, NASA says it's ready to send astronauts towards the moon for the first time in more than half a century. The agency is putting the finishing touches for the Artemis 2 mission, scheduled to lift off no earlier than the 1st of April. But first, President Donald Trump has told the Financial Times that he wants to take Iran's oil and that the U.S. could seize Karg Island, the country's oil export hub.
He's upping his rhetoric as the war
This is DW News, and these are our top stories. Pakistan says it's preparing to host talks between the US and Iran in the coming days, aimed at ending the month-long war. Diplomats from Saudi Arabia, Turkey and Egypt have gathered in Islamabad to lay the groundwork. Iran has accused the US of secretly planning a ground invasion while offering talks and has vowed to resist. Israel is stepping up its invasion of southern Lebanon. More troops are moving across the border as Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu orders an expansion of Israel's so-called security zone. Israeli forces are fighting the Lebanese militant group Hezbollah, which is backed by Iran. Displaced civilians have set up makeshift shelters in the capital, Beirut. NASA is counting down to the launch of Artemis 2, the first crewed mission to the moon in 53 years. The 4 astronauts are making final preparations, with liftoff possible as early as Wednesday. The 10-day journey will take the crew on a loop around the moon, although there'll be no actual landing.
Wednesday at 8 on ABC and ABC iView.
Today, police shoot dead Desi Freeman on a rural property in Victoria 7 months after he killed 2 police officers.
There was an opportunity for him to surrender peacefully, which he did not.
State and territory leaders to map out a coordinated response to the fuel crisis at National Cabinet. Iran threatens to attack the homes of US and Israeli commanders in the region as more American troops arrive. And new figures reveal Australians lost more than $2 billion to scammers last year. Hello and welcome to ABC News. I'm
On the France 24.
Welcome back to Watch Show on France 24. Our main headlines for you this hour. Iran threatens to target the residences of US and Israeli officials across the Gulf. CNN officials vowed to continue air attacks, said Iranian forces are ready for a potential US ground incursion, as around 2,500 Marines have arrived in the region. Benjamin Netanyahu orders an expansion of Israel's operations in southern Lebanon as the offensive against the Iran-backed Hezbollah continues. The Lebanese government says over 1,200 people have now been killed in the past month. This morning,
today with Iran, getting a lot of the things that they should have given us a long time ago. We'll see how it works out, but they're very good. Moving along very nicely. And they've destroyed a lot of additional targets today. The Navy's gone, the Air Force is gone, we know that. But we destroyed many targets today. It was a big day. And we are negotiating with them directly and indirectly. We have emissaries, but we also are dealing directly. And as you know, they've agreed to send 8 boats 2 days ago, and then they added another 2, so it was 10 boats. And now today they gave us, I think out of a sign of respect, 20 boats of oil, big boats of oil, through the Hormuz Strait. And that's taking place tomorrow morning.
Thank you for watching. I'm Shakil 5858. I hope you will come again. Have a good life. Bye-bye.